Hello, I'm Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection Red Alert Report for August 11th, Contamination on Campus and Our Communities, Part 2. Last week I entered our report with a list of some colleges that engage in some sort of anti-Semitic activity or stance by either faculty, students, or both, with little or no pushback from leadership. Let us continue our examination this week as the topic is worthy of even more than just a few minutes of YouTube reports. In a recent article in the Algemeiner, in an interview with Cary Nelson, the Jubilee Professor of Liberal Arts and Sciences Emeritus at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, he is the former president of the AAUP and current chair of the Alliance for Academic Freedom. Dr. Nelson said that he has been personally approached by pro-Israel faculty members concerned about their jobs. Collegiate organizations are supporting BDS now in what Nelson describes as a huge change in terms of academic freedom. And this took place in May of this year during the renewed clashes between Israel and the Hamas terrorist organization in Gaza. At the height of the fighting, more than 100 women's and gender studies departments endorsed an anti-Israel statement that, as Nelson puts it, quote, formally committed them to an anti-Zionist departmental policy, unquote. Other examples are the American Anthropological Association and the National Association of Women's Studies, both of which have been endorsing boycotts of Israel since 2019. What is even more frightening is the trickle down now into our educational systems that teach our younger children. The critical race theory and other similar criticisms target Israel and Jews. It displaces their history and their experiences and demonizes them as oppressors, and the Arabs are the victims of Jews in the current Middle East crisis. Among many teachers' unions now engaging in pro-BDS policy include Seattle, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Thankfully, teachers and parents are starting to wake up and speak out against these policies and curriculum. This hate of Israel, which some claim is only anti-Zionist and not anti-Semitic, does indeed spill over into the Jewish folks living just about in any jurisdiction outside of Israel. Jews are being attacked in the name of some outrage about the treatment of Palestinians, which is just the latest excuse of attack because they're just Jewish. This is happening in California, New York, Toronto, Paris, London, and more. Jewish individuals, Jewish property, Jewish businesses, Jewish community centers, cemeteries, and synagogues are seeing an even greater uptick of attacks in the last few months, more so than the tracking of the uptick of anti-Semitic activities that has happened in the last 15 years. Some areas are seeing between a 200 and 600% increase in anti-Semitic activity. This includes New York City and London. And in the end, this hostility and hate and desire to rid the Jews of their footprint from this earth is not about any justice for Arabs in the regions of Gaza and the West Bank, because the reality of their plight and the source of their pain rests solely at the feet of their leadership, who are never called out by anyone. Jew hate is the oldest hate, and it is the enemy's constant mission to rid the world of the people of God, the people God chose to be the pathway of salvation and his conduit for his plan and messages. In this day, the target is Israel because it actually exists, but this does not negate the target of Jews worldwide. The state of Israel is simply the latest bullseye. Blame the Jews. A centuries-old mantra has morphed into blame Israel in the last 80 years. It's just the same sinister spirit of the enemy attempting to thwart God's plan, which we know will never happen. But the battle is real and it is daily. Christians, Jews, and anyone of any religion or no religion or culture or philosophy who has any sense of justice, fairness, and human rights, with or without a spiritual element, cannot deny the illogical and slanted accusations against Israel in light of the facts of what it does as the only democracy in the region and the only jurisdiction with some sense of humanity in its laws and its societal structures, including laws agnostic to one's religion, color, gender, etc. Be the voice or typist on social media of truth and reason as we use facts to advocate for Jews around the world and fight the hate and discrimination that leads to the undercurrent of groups trying to snuff out Jews in all their forms and the nation of Israel. The war is won, and we know that. But we are responsible for doing our part in the battle. We are the hands and feet in the words of God's values and plan along the way. Shavua Tov, and have a great week.